There are moments in life when you look in the mirror and see nothing but disappointment staring back. You gave everything, your time, your energy, your heart, and still ended up feeling like you're standing in the ruins of your own dreams. You see the months slipping by, the promises unfulfilled, the goals untouched, and the silent question haunts your heart. Why do I keep falling short? But hear me. Failure is not the end of your story. It's the fire that forges your purpose. Every great soul has walked through years that broke them, humbled them, and forced them to rebuild from nothing. You're not behind. You're being prepared. The pain that you feel right now is shaping the power you'll need tomorrow. 2025 might have hurt you, but it didn't destroy you. You're still breathing, still capable, still chosen for something greater. Stop measuring your worth by what didn't happen and start believing in what's still possible. Because sometimes God breaks you down only to rebuild you stronger. Pain is life's greatest instructor, though we rarely appreciate its lessons when they arrive. It doesn't knock gently. It storms in, tearing down everything comfortable, everything certain. But within that chaos lies a strange kind of order, one that shapes us into who we were meant to become. When life hurts, it isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. It's stripping away what's weak, what's false, what no longer serves your higher path. Pain is not cruelty, it's correction. It redirects you from the easy road to the meaningful one, from illusion to truth, from fear to growth. Think back on the hardest seasons of your life, the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the mornings you didn't want to rise, the failures that made you question your purpose. At the time, it felt like destruction, but now with distance, you see it differently. Those moments carved wisdom into your spirit. They forced you to dig deeper, to find strength where none seemed to exist. Pain doesn't just change you, it reveals you. It uncovers the warrior within, the part of you that refuses to quit even when everything falls apart. Setbacks aren't there to stop you, they're there to strengthen you. Every rejection, every delay, every closed door carries a hidden blessing. You might not see it immediately, but the truth always unfolds in time. Sometimes the pain you're fighting so hard to escape is the exact experience that's molding your destiny. Without failure, you wouldn't learn humility. Without loss, you wouldn't understand gratitude. Without struggle, you'd never know the taste of victory. Pain gives meaning to the moments of peace that follow. There's a divine intelligence in your discomfort. Life never wastes suffering, it always transforms it. But transformation demands surrender. You cannot heal if you keep resisting the lesson. The moment you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? Everything changes. That shift in perspective turns pain from an enemy into a mentor. Suddenly, what once felt unbearable becomes enlightening. The fire that was burning you begins to refine you. That's the secret. Pain polishes the soul. We live in a world that glorifies comfort and avoids discomfort at all costs, but comfort rarely builds character. It's the struggle, the fight, the sleepless nights that turn ordinary people into extraordinary beings. You cannot rise to greatness on a smooth road. It's the rough terrain that strengthens your legs, the storms that test your wings. Every painful moment is an invitation to evolve, to let go of who you were and step into who you're becoming. When life breaks you, it's not out of cruelty. It's because your current form can no longer hold your potential. The old you has to shatter for the new you to emerge. Think of a seed. It must break open for the plant to grow. The pain of that breaking is necessary for new life to begin. In the same way, your heartbreaks, your failures, your disappointments are cracks through which your light can enter the world. Without the breaking, there is no blooming. You see, pain refines purpose. It strips away ego and illusion until only truth remains. When you've lost everything you thought defined you, you discover what truly matters. Your faith, your integrity, your resilience. You realize you are not your failures, not your mistakes, not your suffering. You are the strength that survived them. Pain gives birth to wisdom because it teaches through experience what comfort could never reveal. Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of endurance. So don't despise your pain. Don't rush your healing. Sit with it, listen to it, because somewhere inside that ache is a message meant only for you. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you to let go. Maybe it's reminding you that you are stronger than you think. The lessons hidden in pain are not loud, they whisper. But if you're willing to listen, they will guide you toward peace, purpose, and power. Pain is never wasted when it's understood. One day you'll look back on this season and smile, not because it didn't hurt, but because you see what it made of you. You'll realize that every tear was watering the roots of your growth. Every setback was a setup for your comeback. Every loss carved space for something greater to enter your life. Pain is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts forever. The version of you emerging from this darkness is wiser, calmer, and unstoppable. So if 2025 has felt like a year of pain, take heart. You are not losing, you are learning. You are not breaking, you are becoming. The purpose of pain is not to destroy, but to awaken. Let it mold you, let it teach you, let it guide you back to yourself. Because when the storm passes, and it will, you'll realize that the very pain that once felt like the end was, in truth, the beginning of your becoming. Faith is not built in moments of clarity, it's born in the darkness, when everything around you seems to fall apart and there are no answers in sight. It's easy to believe when life flows smoothly, but the true test of faith begins when the road disappears beneath your feet. When you've tried everything and nothing works. When you've prayed and still see no sign of change. That's where faith speaks loudest. It says, hold on, keep walking. Even if you can't see the end, trust that the path is leading you somewhere meaningful. There will be times when life feels like chaos, when nothing aligns, when plans crumble, and the people you counted on disappear. In those moments, fear will whisper in your ear, telling you it's over, telling you you failed. But faith is the quiet voice that answers back. This is not the end. Faith doesn't promise a life without pain. It promises that pain won't have the final say. It reminds you that behind every delay is divine timing. And behind every disappointment is direction. Even when life doesn't make sense, it's still shaping you for something greater. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on what you cannot control. It convinces you to give up, to settle, to stop believing. But faith demands courage. It asks you to step forward. Even when the lights are out, even when the odds are against you. Faith is walking through the fire and trusting that you won't be burned. It's letting go of control and believing that what's meant for you will find its way to you. True strength is not in knowing what's next, it's in trusting that you're being guided, even in the silence. When you're walking through confusion, remember that the process is never meant to be perfect. Growth is messy, transformation hurts. You are being stretched in ways that challenge every ounce of comfort within you, but that stretching, that tension is proof that you're evolving. You cannot rise to new levels without leaving the old behind. So when it feels like your world is falling apart, maybe it's actually falling into place. Faith allows you to see beyond the chaos, to believe that there's a design behind the disorder. Sometimes God hides the destination to teach you trust. If you knew how every moment would unfold, you wouldn't need faith, you just need a plan. But life isn't a plan, it's a journey. And faith is your compass. It keeps you steady when the waves crash, when the vision blurs, when the outcome looks impossible. Fear screams for certainty, faith whispers, just take the next step. The process might not make sense now, but one day you'll see why every delay and detour was necessary for your becoming. Faith is the art of surrendering without giving up. It's letting go of control, but not of hope. It's believing that something unseen is still working for your good. When doors close, faith says something better is being built. When people leave, faith says, I'm being redirected. When life gets heavy, faith says, I'm being strengthened. This is how warriors are made. Not in comfort, but in chaos. Not in certainty, but in surrender. Every step taken in faith plants a seed for a miracle waiting to bloom. The truth is, fear and faith cannot live in the same heart. One will always silence the other. Fear focuses on what's missing, what's broken, what might go wrong. Faith focuses on what's possible, what's promised, what's already working behind the scenes. So when fear tells you you're not enough, faith reminds you that you've already come this far for a reason. When fear tells you to quit, faith whispers just one more step. And often, that one more step leads to breakthrough. The process won't always be pretty. There will be tears, confusion, loneliness, and waiting. But faith gives meaning to the waiting. It turns silence into preparation. It transforms doubt into discipline. And when you least expect it, life begins to shift. The things that once didn't make sense start connecting. The doors that once stayed locked begin to open. The pain that once felt pointless becomes the foundation for peace. Faith was working all along. It was just building quietly beneath the surface. Remember, your faith doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be present. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you trust instead of panic, you rise higher. The process may be slow, but it's sacred. It's turning you into someone who no longer needs certainty to believe. Someone who no longer doubts their worth because of delay. That's the kind of strength that no storm can shake. So if 2025 felt like confusion and chaos, don't lose faith. The silence doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means you're being refined. The darkness isn't the end. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. Keep trusting even when nothing makes sense. Because the process that feels painful now is the very one that's leading you toward peace, purpose, and power. Faith doesn't eliminate fear, it overrides it. It tells your heart, even here, even now, I am guided, I am growing, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Rock bottom is not the end of your story. It's the birthplace of your rebirth. It's the place where everything familiar disappears, where every mask falls away, and where you finally meet the real you. When you've lost everything, when life has stripped you down to nothing, that's when your soul begins to rebuild with truth. Rock bottom hurts, but it also clarifies. It shows you what truly matters, who truly cares, and what you're truly made of. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Because from the lowest point, the only direction left to go is up. There's a strange power in losing it all. When you have nothing to prove and nothing left to lose, you become unstoppable. Rock bottom removes distractions, excuses, and illusions. It forces you to look inward, to face your pain, your flaws, your fears. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also cleansing. It burns away everything false so you can rise pure, authentic, and unshakable. The same fire that destroyed the old you is also the one that will forge the new you. You're not being buried. You're being planted for a greater bloom. Many people see rock bottom as failure, but it's not. It's foundation. Think about it. Every skyscraper begins with a deep dig into the ground. The deeper the foundation, the higher the building can rise. So when life takes you down to the dust, don't despair. The depth of your struggle determines the height of your rise. Every tear, every heartbreak, every lonely night is part of the construction. You're being rebuilt for something greater than before, and this time your structure will stand unshakable. When you're at your lowest, you learn what can't be taught in comfort, resilience, gratitude, and grace. You discover that strength is not about pretending you're fine, but about standing up one more time after being knocked down 100 times. Rising again doesn't mean forgetting what broke you. It means learning from it. It means transforming the pain into purpose, the wound into wisdom, the fall into faith. The world may have counted you out, but they forgot one thing. You were born to rise. The most powerful people you've ever admired were once broken too. They had moments when they lost direction, lost hope, and questioned everything. But what separates them from the rest is that they didn't stay down. They used their pain as fuel. They built empires from ashes, courage from fear, and light from darkness. Rock bottom wasn't their defeat, it was their awakening. You too have that same power within you. It's not about where you fell, it's about how fiercely you rise. Rising again requires belief. Belief that something beautiful can still emerge from the ruins. You may not see it now, but every setback has prepared you for a comeback. Every closed door has rerouted you to a better path. Every disappointment has toughened your heart and sharpened your focus. The version of you walking out of rock bottom is wiser, calmer, and more grounded. This time you'll rise with purpose, not pride, with faith, not fear, with peace, not pressure. Self-centeredness competition. That's the beauty of starting again. Sometimes you need to lose everything to find yourself. Rock bottom humbles you. It teaches you that strength isn't in control, but in surrender. When you've got nothing left, that's when you finally let go of your old identity, your old story, and allow life to rebuild you from the inside out. The comeback begins the moment you stop running from your pain and start rising with it. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived the fire and came out refined. Remember this: every fall carries within it the seed of renewal. Just as winter gives way to spring, your darkness will give way to light. The ashes of your past are not the end, they're the soil of your rebirth. Don't let the weight of what broke you convince you that you can't rise again. You can and you will. Because within every broken heart lies the potential for a stronger, wiser soul. What once defeated you will one day define your strength. The comeback is never about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about honoring the strength that kept you alive, the faith that kept you moving, and the hope that refused to die. Rock bottom gave you perspective. It taught you that peace is not found in perfection, but in perseverance. It taught you that true success is not about never falling, but about rising every single time you do. Your story doesn't end in defeat. It begins in resilience. So if 2025 broke you, let 2026 be the year you rise. Stand tall, not because life is easy, but because you survived what was meant to destroy you. Stand proud, because you didn't give up when you had every reason to. Rock bottom was never your grave, it was your ground zero, the place where your true power awakened. From here, you're not just rising, you're ascending, building, evolving, because the comeback is always stronger than the setback, and your rise is just beginning. When we look back at the pain, confusion, and darkness that 2025 may have brought, it's easy to label it as failure. But the truth is, it was never failure, it was formation. Every heartbreak, every unanswered prayer, every sleepless night was carving something deeper within you. Life wasn't punishing you, it was preparing you. It was shaping you into someone who can stand tall even when the ground shakes. The storms you walked through were not meant to drown you, but to teach you how to breathe underwater. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that even the pain had a purpose. Because every setback was a teacher, every loss was a lesson, and every moment of doubt was a doorway to faith. You were never truly alone in your struggle. The universe, life, God, whatever name you call it, was guiding you all along, even when it felt silent. That silence wasn't absence, it was alignment. You were being redirected, refined, and reminded of who you are. You were being taught that strength isn't built in sunshine, it's built in storms. That faith isn't real until it's tested. And that rock bottom isn't a curse, it's the foundation upon which your greatest comeback will stand. Now it's time to rise. Not with bitterness, but with belief. Not with fear, but with faith. Everything that tried to break you only revealed how unbreakable you truly are. You are stronger than your circumstances, wiser because of your wounds, and more compassionate because of your struggles. You didn't come this far just to survive. You came to rise, to rebuild, and to reclaim your power. The story of your life is not defined by what went wrong in 2025, but by how powerfully you choose to rise in what comes next. So lift your head, stand in your truth, and understand this: you are not behind, you are right on time. The pain was never a detour. It was the path itself leading you back to your purpose. You've been tested, but you've also been trusted with something sacred, your own transformation. What comes next isn't luck or coincidence. It's destiny meeting readiness. It's the moment when your faith finally turns into sight, when your scars become symbols of strength, and when your story becomes a testimony that will inspire others to rise too. You've made it through the hardest days, and that means the best ones are still ahead. So breathe, believe, and begin again, because your comeback story starts now. And it will be the most powerful chapter you've ever written. Thank you for standing tall, even when life tried to break you. Thank you for believing, even when hope was hard to find. You are living proof that nothing can destroy a soul that chooses to rise. Stay strong, keep the faith, and remember, your time is coming. God bless you.